SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the Grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in. Thursday already? Is it Thursday already? It is. This week is moving by fast, and it is the weather is not going away at all. It is good that we don't have baseball in Oxford or Starkville this weekend, I think, because we've got some stinky weather coming through.
The temps would be awesome to be sit out there in like 65 degrees, but if it's raining, no. So. Yeah,
65 is your money window. Mine's like 72, partly cloudy.
I can deal with a little, having to put on a pullover. I can deal with that.
As long as the sun's up. That gets cold when the sun goes down.
It just popped into my head. We're going to go completely off track here for a second.
That's fine.
But I'm very upset at you.
What'd I do?
How on earth did you not tell me that Deshaun Stribling's uncle was the Magnificent Morocco? You're telling me...
How was I supposed to know
telling me that
what the Magnificent Morocco is?
Had a WWE Hall of Famer as a blood relative, and I had to find out about that on ESPN?
What are you watching ESPN for?
Well, it was just on. I'm just watching TV, and I was like, wait a minute, what? I was like, how was this never brought up? Hey, Dad, you'll find this interesting.
I didn't
Deshaun
know that.
Stribling's uncle is Don the Rock, the Magnificent Morocco. I'm upset, personally. I feel slighted.
Did you think that I would know?
That feels like a fun fact that you should have been aware of.
This is the only Morocco I know. It's a song by Moon Taxi.
I don't know this. The only Morocco I know is the actual country, Morocco. And I know, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I know what
the Magnificent Morocco. Spelled differently.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's Muraco. So anyway, I just wanted. I forgot. I meant to do that in Winners and Losers on Monday, and it just keeps slipping in and out of my head. And it popped in for a second. I was like, "Say it now while it's on your brain."
Hey, you were the first person that I've ever heard make reference.
It was
to
on
that.
SportsCenter. It was on the NFL Draft. They're like, this guy's uncle is a WWE Hall of Famer.
Well, when he got picked, I was unfortunately I was driving.
Well, I'm just saying, between you and Cross, somebody should have thrown that fact at me. I could have had an actual Ole Miss player I liked.
Do you think Richard would know who the Magnificent Morocco is?
I'm sure it's in the media guide. It's got to be somewhere.
I had no idea that he was the nephew of a famous wrestler.
The nephew of a famous wrestler.
Yeah. Was he a good wrestler? Was he like an evil wrestler?
Yeah.
But what was his thing?
He was a bad guy.
He was a bad guy?
He was a bad guy, yeah. So.
The heel, right?
Yes. Look at you.
I'm getting there.
There you go.
I'm getting there. Glad you guys are with us, though.
We are glad you're here in the Pearl River Resort Studios, pearlriverresort.com. Book your stay now. This weekend, as Borkey said, maybe you want to be a little more inside than outside, but that doesn't make a difference because there's great live entertainment at Pearl River Resort for you to check out. Music, comedy, all sorts of great shows. And, of course, some of the best eating in the state of Mississippi at Philip M's and at Mom and M's. Check it out, pearlriverresort.com. C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. With C-Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 and Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and a free tablet. That's all on one docket right there for you, $90. Don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C-Spire store today C-Spire, inspired by you.
I'm ready to make your day.
You're going to tell me right now that Ole Miss has a quarterback who's the grandson of Pedro Morales?
Who's that?
Another WWE Hall of Famer.
Where is the WWE Hall of Fame?
There is no physical WWE Hall of Fame.
How do you not have a physical Hall of Fame, but induct people into a Hall of Fame?
They could make millions. People would go, but they don't have one. It's just like an honorary thing. Yeah, what?
Light bulb. Bing.
Yeah, we have to have the licensing, and we don't have the money for that. Maybe Cross could get on board with us.
Well,
I don't know.
We don't have to have the money. We have to convince somebody with money that it would make money.
Oh, it would absolutely.
We get a partner, and we open the WWE Hall of Fame here.
No. We open the Pro Wrestling
Hall of Fame.
Right.
In the great state of Mississippi.
Right here in the great state of Mississippi. All right, what do you got for me, though? What do you got? This is going to make me happy.
I found an investor to...
You already found him. That was quick.
121 days until week 0 of college football.
Oh, let's all just take a minute here. That's 4 months and a day.
That's not that far away.
4 months and a day, and we got real live college football on the television screen. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's not that far away.
Keep yourselves in good shape. Eat good. Maybe exercise a little. We got to stay alive for 4 more months.
Because we at least have 5 weeks of that occupied by baseball. At a bare minimum, we're getting 5 weeks of baseball.
Yeah.
Hopefully
much
8
more.
Or 9? 8, right?
Hopefully we're getting all the way to July 1st.
So it's 5 to get you through the regional, 6 to the super, and then Omaha is 2 weeks. So 8 weeks of baseball.
Yeah, and then July, middle of July, we get to SEC Media Day, so we're basically there at that point.
And then training camp starts and preseason games start. And
we're good.
Yeah, we need somebody to make it to Omaha.
Yeah.
Ideally, somebody to make it to the National Championship Series and win it. Now we're talking crazy. Oh, wait, no, we're not, because we sat back and...
We've done it before. We could do it again.
2 times. We've done that. North Carolina, TCU, Hawaii, Stanford, NC
North Carolina,
State.
TCU again on week 0?
Saturday, August 29th. That's in Dublin.
That might have been week 1 last year. That was week 1.
Yeah, it was on the Sunday night.
Monday. No, it was
or Monday.
It was the Monday game, yeah.
And they had the balloons that cost $800 that Bill Belichick was
And then they lost.
They had concerts and all kinds of stuff.
The Dublin game, I haven't dug too deep. The Dublin game is in North Carolina, TCU?
That is what this says. Saturday, August 29th, 2026, North Carolina, TCU, Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. What do you think Bill Belichick's girlfriend's going to do in Ireland? She's old enough to drink now, so she might go.
She should be fine.
Go to the pubs.
She'll definitely get a video of somebody pouring her a pint of Guinness, and then she'll take a sip and realize she doesn't like it. Something like that.
But yeah, that's the Dublin game. You also have Hawaii, Stanford.
We're on to Dublin.
Also, we have a Brazil game.
Okay.
NC State, Virginia at Nilton Santos Stadium in Rio, Brazil.
NC State, Virginia. Is it a conference game? Or is this like what the ACC occasionally has to do where they play non-conference games?
I do not know the answer to that question. I do know that this is, a neat-looking stadium, but it's got a track around it.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yeah, but, the sight line.
It's probably left over from a World Cup or an Olympics or something, that they didn't actually need the stadium.
Yeah, when did they have the Olympics did they have the Olympics or World Cup in Rio?
The World Cup there in 2014, so I don't know.
It is, I guess it's not a conference game.
That wacky ACC, what are they doing?
They can't figure their stuff out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that was happening until right now. I must have missed the release along the way that they're going to Brazil to play this game.
Is the NFL doing another Brazil game again? They are, aren't they?
Or isn't that Australia this year with the...
Australia?
Yeah, they're having an Australia game this year.
That means that the season starts a whole day earlier because it's, earlier over there. Or is it a day later?
They're doing it, I think, Wednesday, aren't they?
I don't know. The NFL schedule, I certainly don't know.
Is the money worth it? Like,
no.
Especially with all due respect.
I don't know who gave up the home game between NC State and West Virginia, or NC State and Virginia, but they would have been better off having a home game.
I would tend to agree. I mean, yeah, sure, you'll get money from the TV networks for doing this or whatever, but
like neutral site games, I'm just not I like them in some ways, but for the most part, I don't. Like, I think Ole Miss Louisville should be playing a 2-game set, one in Louisville and one in Oxford.
I would prefer that too.
Yeah,
it sounds better to me.
Yeah, just play those neutral site games on campus and play.
But at least your fan base can drive to that one, and they don't need a passport.
Right? Who wants to fly right now?
Who wants to fly?
Fly international. Nobody wants that.
There are parts of Rio I have been told are awesome and beautiful and everything, and then there are parts of Rio where,
you don't want to be there.
So anyway, yeah, that's week 0. 121 days away from that. Also, Memphis UNLV, San Jose State USC, New Mexico State, Florida
Memphis.
State.
I beat Memphis a bunch of times when I was in Starkville.
Jacksonville State, North Dakota State, who is now a member of Division I, and so is Sacramento State, who's playing Eastern Michigan. There's week 0. That's something.
You didn't have to say much to fire me up, but you did it.
We'll be back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
From the Venable.
Come on. Are we going to do this?
Back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
Keep rolling. 3, 2, 1.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Butch wants to know where Ole Miss and Louisville are playing. Butch, they're playing in Nashville, Nissan Stadium, where the Titans play for one more year before they move over to their new stadium.
Yep.
Cowboys-Ravens, by the way, will be the Rio game in week 3, apparently.
Whatever.
And somebody says, are they recruiting kickers from soccer there? I do think you can go too far with stuff like this, too. With everything, like basketball tournament expansion, they've gone too far. And I love how the NCAA releases a statement, well, we haven't decided yet. Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
You 100% have.
And everybody knows it. Same thing here. The NFL at times feels too big to fail. College football feels too big to fail. If all of the chaos around it has not contributed to a ratings and attendance decline, nothing will. Ratings are up, attendance is up.
Yeah.
At some point when people say, well, this is going to kill college football, you got to show me the proof at some point. You got to prove it to me. Same thing with the NFL. Like, oh, they're finally going to start doing this. You can't hit the quarterbacks anymore. Fans are going to tune out, and they don't.
Right.
And even though I didn't care for it, Bad Bunny's going to do the Super Bowl halftime show. I'm out. Well, guess what? Ratings are going to be up again this year. I mean, it just... Yeah. I do wonder if you keep doing these international games and taking more games away from...
That might be the spot where
it's like, who are you serving? Is the money worth the abandonment of your own people?
We seem to have been talking about this particular message a lot this week of who does this serve? We were talking about pregame shows the other day and talking about how, the intermingling of certain aspects of pop culture with sports and, who do you serve? And I'm a big believer in the, if you try to serve everybody, you can't, you fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never want to go to a restaurant. Very rarely do I want to go to a restaurant. I shouldn't say never, but very rarely do I want to go to a restaurant where there's burgers and pizza and Italian food and Chinese. I want, let's just go to a burger place. Get somebody that specializes in burgers. That's what we want, right? And this is kind of the same thing. There's never going to be an NFL Brazil team. All right, there may be one in Europe eventually. That may happen. There's never going to be an NFL South American team. It's just not going to happen.
You're not going to get American players to play there. Right. 53 of them to willingly go play there.
And honestly, even Europe's going to be tough because soccer is so ingrained in the culture down there. And so who do you serve? Eagles fans or Cowboys fans, by and large, are going to be like, hey, instead of going to a game this weekend in Dallas, let's fly down to Brazil to watch the Cowboys. Nobody's doing that. So, you benefit your television networks, I guess, but here's the thing. That game could be played in Dallas, in Baltimore, in New York City, in the middle of Central Park. Doesn't matter. Cowboys, Ravens, the ratings are going to be the same no matter what. Nobody is tuning in for the spectacle of being in Brazil. I just don't understand sometimes.
Yeah, and when the Saints, because they're doing a game in Paris this year, and obviously there's some natural tie-ins with France and New Orleans and stuff, but in the press release they sent out, this gives us an opportunity. This I'm reading from the press release. I'm not on the team, obviously, but it was like, this gives us the opportunity to grow our fan base in France. And I'm reading that, and I thought, well, who gives a you-know-what? Like, why do I care if you're growing your fan base in France or not?
Right.
Shouldn't you be growing your fan base here? The ones that can actually go to your games and buy tickets and stuff like that? I mean, what do you get out of growing your fan base in France? And what do your people here do? What do they get out of it?
Right.
Because when I look around, you're not doing a good enough job in your own region of marketing to your own people. So I don't understand that. If that's the spin, it's a nonsensical spin. Of course, it's, more money. But how much more money does Gail Benson need? She could sell the Saints tomorrow for $7 billion. What does she need more money for? I don't understand that either. She could sell her basketball team for $3 right now.
I never understand a lot of what billionaires do, and that's probably that's why I'm not one of them. But I wouldn't want the headache. I'd just be like, hold on, you're telling me I'm already worth a few billion, and if I sell this, I could have another $10 billion, and I could walk away and just do whatever I want for the rest of my life. I'm in for that. I love the Saints. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, do you really need the headache?
Now, when I'm a billionaire, I will buy a sports team, and they will be I will. See,
it's a difference between you. I'm not talking about new money. I'm talking about Gail Benson. Does she really need the headache of the Saints anymore? It's a different if I'm buying the team.
Right. Yeah.
I do want that headache at that time. But with her, she didn't build this team. Her husband built it.
She didn't build the empire that bought the team.
She didn't do any of that. Why not just go sit on an island? Go enjoy your grandkids. Why do you need the headache? I never understand that. So
sometimes people just got to feel important. I don't know.
I guess, man, I would feel pretty important if I had, $10 billion in the bank.
I would be like Ryan Reynolds, though. I would buy a team and they would get all of my attention.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be Mark Cuban sitting courtside yelling at refs, that kind of thing.
I'm very excited to see. This looks like the first year they're not going to get promoted again. How long does his attention stay? If they do 4 or 5 straight seasons in the championship, where does he stay committed to that team? I don't know. We'll see. Wrexham.
Not Wreckham.
No,
Texas Tech.
That's Texas Tech. Yeah.
Oh, their season got wrecked. Although I guess they've got a super talented quarterback that's going to take Sorsby's place, by the way. That's what people be saying.
Is that what people say?
Yeah.
If they just, we just went straight in message board there. Oh, the backup's actually better. Man, we were really wanting to see him play anyway.
I have to catch myself because every time Pete Golding gets asked about backup quarterback battle, I roll my eyes so hard. It's like, guys, what do you Trinidad's there. Who cares? If Deuce Knight or Maddox are quarterback 2 right now, why are you asking about them? There's so much else that is more important, and I've got to stop myself from having that feeling because Trinidad went into last season being the backup quarterback. Right. So now these people are justified, but I hate tell me about the backup quarterback battle questions. I hate it because the likelihood of those guys playing is just nothing.
People got stories to write, though. I understand.
About the backup quarterbacks?
Oh, yeah. People, because especially...
Here's the answer. Yeah, they're both working hard.
Well, here's the thing. At Ole Miss, both of those quarterbacks are Mississippi guys. Deuce Knight and Jay Maddox, right? So there's a local piece to that. it's probably less here at Mississippi State, right? Because the quarterback is a Mississippian, but the two backups are transfers, and the freshman who's coming in is not. I think he's from Georgia.
AJ Swan, right? Isn't that one of them?
AJ Swan and Jaden Rashada. Yeah,
that is the funny and not like point and laugh funny. I mean, just like the names in the quarterback room for Mississippi State, because Swan was a starter at Vanderbilt, and Rashada sued a team because they arbitrarily broke the contract they signed with him.
And then he played a season with Georgia.
Played with Georgia.
A lot of SEC experience.
Yeah.
In some ways.
It's just a fascinating quarterback room. Can't hurt to have guys with that experience behind old Camario, though.
No. Yeah. That said, Swan's real interesting because his skill set and Camario Taylor's skill set couldn't be any more different if you tried. Like I don't see AJ Swan taking off and running 50 yards downfield.
If AJ Swan comes in the game, it's handoff, quick out, handoff, maybe a little post route.
Yeah.
Manage the game. Don't screw it up. Hopefully Ardette's defense will win it for us. That's the kind of message that AJ Swan gets when he takes the field.
Fluff, we're putting this in your hands, yeah.
Yeah, Fluff, get ready to learn 30 carries, buddy.
Yeah. Well, he might be learning that anyway.
Saw some draft guys that are high on him, by the way.
Big, physical running back. He's got some explosive speed. Needs to be a little bit better of a pass catcher. I don't know how much of a 3-down back he is, but he's got an opportunity for sure.
Yeah, there's all the draft guys do it. The second the draft is over, they start looking at guys that they want to be locked in on for next year.
Yeah.
And I saw two people make reference to, hey, there's a sleeper running back in this class, and look out for Fluff Bothwell. So
there you go.
Thought that was pretty cool. Sports Talk Mississippi 601-879-4395 is the C Spire text line. John Talty will join us here in a little bit to talk some college football about 49 minutes from right now.
50.
So looking forward to that. Somebody, is that on the text line? Hey, is that a name that I should know? Somebody says the second string quarterback at State. Is that a reference that I don't understand?
That's the guy who was in the spring game, got a lot of reps.
Billy Puckett.
I don't think he's actually going to be the backup guy. If he is, then you talk about you misevaluated badly bringing in Swan and Rashada. If a walk-on's ahead of them, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
There have been MAIS quarterbacks in the past that have lit up spring games.
Yeah.
At Mississippi schools. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back.
From the Seabrook.
Come on.
SuperTalk Mississippi.
Check this out.
Are you ready? Yeah. Sports Talk Mississippi.
All right, tell me if you think this is interesting or not. There's been a lot of talk about college football playoff format changes and stuff, and will they go to 16, will they go to 24, all that. But there's been a minor tweak in where the 1 seed and the 2 seed will go in the quarter and the semifinal games. Here's Greg Sankey, and it's wordy because that's what he does, but here is him describing what the change will be in this year's college.
Before you start, I would laugh really hard if it was just like the Charlie Brown teacher stuff. That was Greg Sankey. Go ahead.
So I was asked on the way out, did you talk about like eliminating Tuesday ranking shows? We really did not. We talked about the schedule of those shows, but we did not talk about whether those exist or not. We had a brief conversation about format. Really understanding the timing of decisions that relate to the 2027 season. So by the end of November, I think December 1st is the actual date, we'd have to make a decision if we vary from 12. And last year decided to not vary from the 12-team format. I think those were the two kind of key issues. And, the discussion around bowl games. So there are some differences. It's interesting next year, the opportunity for the 1 seed to pick its path, the location of its quarterfinal bowl and the location of its semifinal bowl, and then the 2 seed to have, a quarterfinal bowl option, and obviously placed in the semifinal bowl. So we talked about those logistical issues. Really good TV success, really good attendance success last year, and how do we continue to build? Those are the real key topics.
All right, so through the political slog, did you catch it? The 1 seed and the 2 seed will get to pick what bowl they play in the quarterfinal, and then the 1 seed will get to pick their semifinal bowl.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense. I would amend it even further. The higher seed, just or the better seed, the better ranked team.
If the 1 seed gets eliminated, however it works out, yes, the highest seed should get to pick. Correct.
All the way through.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so I hope that's what that means, really. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I hope that does happen for a lot of reasons. One, you should be rewarded for being really good. Mm-hmm. Like in the NFL, if you're the better seed or you win your division, you get a home game. So winning games in the regular season truly matters. But what's the difference between the 1 seed and the 4 seed? As we've talked about in the current format, I mean, Georgia had to play in the SEC championship. Ole Miss did not. So they ended up playing the same number of games, and Georgia's extra game was more difficult than Ole Miss's extra game because they played Tulane. Georgia got a bye, but they had to play an extra game anyway. So what is the reward for having a really, really good regular season? Right now, there's kind of not one if you play in your conference championship because you play the same number of games.
Right.
Getting to pick your bowl destination, there's a reward for a really good regular season. There's a reward for going to and playing in your conference championship. If the Sugar Bowl is in the rotation and Ole Miss or Mississippi State wins and they're one of the higher seeds, they go pick the Sugar Bowl. That's a great thing. That's something that they actually improved during all of these discussions where they've gotten nowhere.
I'm impressed. They did something, and it makes sense. I could absolutely see them doing something that doesn't make sense. That's what the NCAA and these conferences do all the time. To do something that makes sense, maybe we can hold out a little hope for the future. I don't know. But yeah, this is the correct move. For example, I'm trying to think of the way that it would work. Like Ohio State would almost certainly always pick the Rose Bowl. You would think they would keep the traditions.
Yeah,
right?
And their fan base is everywhere, so it doesn't
Texas
really
would like
matter.
to get the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
they want to play there. If LSU were to make it, they obviously would want the Sugar Bowl. So would Ole Miss. So would Mississippi State in those instances. Going on, Florida, Miami would want to play in the Orange Bowl, so on and so forth. If these teams can't have home games, let them at least have as much home field advantage as you can get them. So yeah, I'm in favor of it. I like it. I'll be damned. Good job, Power Conference commissioners.
Pretty wild stuff. So there you go. 601-879-4395, the C Spire text line. Be a part of the show. That is how you can do it. Somebody says the weather for Austin is not looking good for Friday. That's Terry. I have not looked at the Fayetteville weather. I'll do that right now. Hey, Dad, are we talking maybe doubleheader?
I haven't seen. So Friday, let's see here. Get a little AccuWeather up here. For Friday, we are looking at a high of 62 degrees. Ooh, there's supposed to be some rain for sure. I don't know if that's just all in the morning or in the evening or what, but it says 99% chance of precipitation. That feels like it's going to be, precipitation. It's definitely going to be raining when it goes over to midnight. That's something I think people miss out on sometimes. Like, Friday there's a 99% chance of rain, right? But on Thursday there was also a high chance of rain, and it just rained past midnight. That means it technically rained on Friday.
Yeah.
I think people miss that out sometimes. So looking at first pitches at 6:30, well, even then, it's an 80% chance of rain. So they're under a flood watch. High of 57. What month is it? It's April. It's gonna be May 1st in the state of Texas, and it's going to be 57 degrees.
In Austin, Texas.
Get out of here.
The bats are going to be hiding under the bridge.
Yeah. So that being said, you very well could be looking at a Saturday doubleheader.
Who does that favor, I wonder?
These are both two teams with pretty good pitching. Probably doesn't affect it too much one way or the other. You don't like to – you want to know early because you don't want to get Valenkis and Texas won't want to get their starter, who I assume is I forget what his last name is. But you don't want to get those guys up and running and then have to bring them back down. So hopefully they'll come to a decision on that pretty quickly.
Yeah. Somebody says the field is turf. Yeah, turf doesn't block lightning though. I mean that's the if it's raining too hard in
Volantis. I knew it started with a V. Dylan Volantis.
So turf helps get the field ready faster, but obviously it does not help if it's an absolute downpour and the pitchers can't grip the ball anymore or there's lightning in the area. Mm. In Fayetteville, it looks like it'll be okay. It's actually 80% chance of rain on Saturday, but they're calling it partly sunny and a shower or two.
Okay.
But otherwise, weather looking pretty good up there. In a series that Ole Miss, I think you just need to go win two. I think that the hosting conversation changes if you don't come back with two.
Agreed. And for State, they need to get one. They need to at least get one. They can't get swept. Just get one, everything will be okay. Get swept and you're in trouble.
Get two, you're talking national seed.
Oh, well, yeah. And what's funny is with State, I don't know if you saw this, we had a little more midweek madness last night. Oregon State lost to UT Rio Grande Valley. Dropped them down to 15 in the RPI. State is now up to 10 in the RPI. And as we mentioned yesterday, and as we've talked about a few times now, if you look at the teams that are ahead of State in the top 10 on the RPI, Alabama is not going to be a top 8 seed. They may host, but they're not going to be a top 8 seed.
No.
Southern Miss is going to host, but they're not going to be a top 8 seed. Southern Cal may host, but they're not going to be a top 8 seed. So there's three teams right there. I'm going to go ahead and tell you something. I think next weekend, Mississippi State versus Auburn, that is a top 8 seed elimination showdown. The winner of that series will be a top 8 seed. The loser will not, or in all likelihood. So very interesting, especially for Auburn. Auburn finishes the season hosting Georgia, so they need to find some wins over these next 2 weekends just before the Georgia Bulldogs get to town, and it's going to be tough. So, of the top 10, I would tell you right now that 3 of them for sure are not going to be top 8 seeds, and one of them between Mississippi State and Auburn probably not going to be one either.
Yeah.
So that sets up some good opportunities. Like Coastal, we think will be a top 8 seed. They've been really good this year. They're dominating the Sun Belt. They're probably going to be a top 8. Georgia will be a top 8 seed despite the fact that they're 19 in the RPI.
That's crazy that their RPI does not match what they are as a team.
They have a couple bad losses.
Yeah.
They have, I think it's...
their non-conference schedule stunk too, didn't it?
Their non-conference is 242.
Yeah.
For the schedule. They have 2 quad 3 and 2 quad 4 losses.
Ooh.
How's Ole Miss sitting today? Ole Miss today still has a quad 3 loss. Memphis must be down. Memphis currently sitting at 122. So... I don't know who Memphis is playing this week, and Ole Miss needs them to win 2 out of 3.
If you want to go to Post Malone and Jelly Roll in Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, you can do just that.
The big
old stadium tour.
Big old stadium tour.
The Big Behind Stadium Tour.
Yeah.
The Big Rump Stadium Tour.
Yeah.
All of those words do not actually say what the actual tour is called.
Right.
But if you want to go, you can. It's on June 5th on Friday. Go to supertalk.fm to find a registration location near you. You can win tickets. Supertalk.fm. You can find a registration location. This giveaway, we're giving away tickets. It's brought to you by Legacy GMC in Laurel. Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be back in just a bit.
From the Venable Glass.
Let the broadcasting of the disturbed continue.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
told you why this song makes me laugh, haven't I?
I don't think so.
So, they did a Christmas song. Let it run for a second. So they did a Christmas song for one of those metal Christmas albums, and it's "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." It's this song. So I'm gonna hold on. I'll sing for you. Oh come all ye faithful, joyful. So you see where I'm going? It's the same beat as
heck yeah.
We're not going to take it, but it's "Oh come all ye faithful." So we were having our Christmas party last year, and I had my Spotify Christmas playlist going, and it would put the pictures of the albums up there. And so you just see Dee Snider on my TV, and somebody was like, I got to know what that song really sounds like. And I turned it up. I was like, it sounds like we're not going to take it. It's even the same, like,
man, they should have done a Grinch version. You're not going to take it.
Yeah, they could have done that.
They could have. But oh well.
That's
funny. Is there any word on McPherson? Somebody wants to know.
You know, we talked to O'Connor on Monday here on Sports Talk Mississippi, and very optimistic that he'll be back before the end of the regular season. I would be shocked to see him this weekend. State does have its final non-conference midweek game next week against Nichols. Maybe you could see him throw an inning there. But O'Connor did sound confident that A, he'll be back before the end of the regular season, and B, everything has gone according to plan. There haven't been any setbacks in his rehab since his injury. So we'll see.
If you play Saturday, do you pitch Stone first and then Tico in the second game?
That's a good question. You try to steal one against Texas, and then you've got Tico. But but Texas could just as easily counter, right, and throw Volantis game 2. That keep the matchup however you want to do it. I would probably just go ahead and go with Tico.
Ray says Gerard said that word today on his show. So if he said it, although it's a little bit different, middays to afternoon drive, you don't expect during the school year kids to be in the car at noon.
We got Pete Golden cursing. We got Gerard cursing. You rebels with your filthy mouths. I mean, Hottie Toddy's got a curse word in it.
Multiple.
You guys are terrible. Terrible people.
Multiple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry you don't like the party, Hadad.
Huh? I'm sorry that, I'm a good person.
I had somebody DM me yesterday. I didn't even say anything profound, but he was like, thank you for saying that the never lost a party thing is dumb.
There you go, yeah.
I
thought you were going to say somebody got mad because I said screwed like 3 times.
No, it was that. And it's easy to come up with that phrase when you are losing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, this is my opinion, all right, I'm not fan police. Right. You should stop saying we may not lose we may not win every game, but we never lose a party thing.
Yeah.
Because, your football program is now, one that wins games a lot.
It was something to cope with.
Yes, it was a coping mechanism.
In the Orgeron, those days. And yes, now it should be more like we win the game, then we win the party. Is how you could eat. Michael Borkey, could print T-shirts that say something along those lines, like win the game, then win the party.
Yeah, because, I don't care if we lose because I'm drinking. No.
Exactly.
You should care if you lose because it shouldn't happen as much as it used to. And it doesn't anymore.
There you go.
Did Bianco not have a press conference after the Governor's Cup? I believe he did not. He was probably trying to make sure Will Furness's arm was still intact.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
Mentioned neutral site games earlier.
Yeah.
Would you want State to play on week 0? I know week 0 is probably going away anyway, but would you want that? Like the ULM game this year.
At a neutral site?
Or just in general, because you have Florida State playing New Mexico State or whatever.
Yeah.
Would you want that?
State started the week, and they got an extra bye week out of it. I wouldn't mind.
I think that'd be cool if that happened here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. When you start the season is irrelevant to me. Start at week 0, start at week 1. That's fine. The games are all the same.
I disagree with this here. Somebody says, even as an Ole Miss fan, most of what they say is stupid, especially the fin. Here's why I push back on the fin. Because of where it started and who it came from. A since passed away veteran that played football for you started it. I like that backstory too much to call the fin dumb, Marshall Henderson's rooster thing that he did, that was, Marshall, you got to close the hand and, put it on top of your head, make it look like a fin, not whatever is on top of a rooster's head. I don't know what it's called. Not a farmer.
I know what it's called.
What is it called?
It's called the coxcomb.
No way.
The coxcomb.
That's what that's called?
COCKSCOMB. Coxcomb.
Really?
They eat it in Europe.
Really?
Yeah.
They also eat beans for breakfast.
Yeah,
over there,
you're not wrong. They eat a lot of weird things in Europe. That's one of them.
But no, see, that's why I say that the powder blue is good. Now, they under Kiffin did it too much. I would like to see them dial it back some. But powder blue is ingrained in the history of your institution. Legends wore it. Chucky Mullins wore it. A guy named Manning wore it. So that's why that color's around. Same thing with the fin. A guy that served your country and played football for you started that. That's fine that keeps around. The can opener lizard, not a good idea. Your defense putting a fin up after a sack, that's fine.
Yeah.
After the news, more sports talk.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Here's more. Super Talk Mississippi.
You're a big Dave Matthews guy, aren't you?
Yeah, the new stuff not as good, but
that YouTube feed I put you onto with the drummers.
Yeah,
one of their guys did a Dave Matthews song recently. You should check it out. Totally changes the song.
I've seen it.
Oh, you saw it? Okay.
Yeah, because that channel shows up in my algorithm now.
It's really cool. Some of the stuff that they do. So
thing that cracks me up about Carter. What's his last name? Goodness,
I don't know.
Anyway, drummer for Dave Matthews. He wears golf gloves when he drums.
Yeah, well,
to hold on to the sticks. He's elite, though.
He's a good drummer. Really good drummer. Guys, we've been talking about it all week. It's been raining all week here in the state of Mississippi. That your grass is just laughing at you out there. You got to get out there and mow it as soon as it gets dry, and the best way to do that is with some John Deere Green. And, man, my friends at Ag Up have got a deal for you. Their Drive Green sales event's going on right now through May 23rd. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go out to Ag Up, one of their 15 locations in this state. You just got to get a quote on a compact tractor. Not only are you going to want to buy the tractor because they're going to give you a great deal, but automatically entered to win a John Deere generator and a John Deere pressure washer. Guys, I can't make it any easier for you. You don't have to even buy the tractor if you don't want to. Just getting the quote will get you free entry into this contest. Borkey and I will be at Ag Up in Hattiesburg on Tuesday, May 12th. So that's 2 weeks. That's a week and, whatever days. However long. I don't do math.
A week and a few days.
Yeah. 3 to 6.
We'll call it that.
From the Ag Up in Hattiesburg on Highway 49. Come by, talk to us, but while you're there, get yourself a quote on a compact tractor so you can be entered to win a John Deere generator and pressure washer. We hope to see you there. What's Up on Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Ag Up. In about 12 minutes, John Talty, CBS Sports, will join us. We're talking a little college football. I took inspiration yesterday from our conversation with Kendall Rogers where I asked him who are the pretenders in college baseball right now. Let's ask John Talty who are the preseason contenders and pretenders for the national title when we get hold of him. Plus, we got three big baseball series in this state. Southern Miss is just as big. Everybody's in the hosting discussion. As it stands right now, we're on the verge of 3 teams hosting in the state of Mississippi for the first time ever. But everybody's got to handle their business, and it starts this weekend.
Yeah, excited about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you had to pick right now, who's hosting, who's not in this state, who is it? I think sorry, this is going to make some people mad.
Oh, you're taking the Rebels out, aren't you?
I think State will host, but not be a national seed, and Ole Miss and Southern Miss will be just on the outside looking in.
I think Southern Miss is going to end up hosting. Their RPI is still in the top 10. As long as they don't do anything stupid, right? Just win your series. If you could throw another sweep in there, that would be fantastic. I think Southern Miss will definitely be a host. They'll probably be like the 15, maybe even the 16 seed. Southern Miss could play UCLA. It could happen if they advance. I think State will host. All Ole Miss has to do is handle its business, right?
I want to be wrong, by the way.
Yeah, just don't get swept this weekend. You got Alabama at home, win that series. And then what's the other series in there? There's
A&M.
another one. On the road or at home?
At home.
Win it.
Arkansas and Alabama on the road, A&M at home.
I think they're 11 and 10, right?
11 and 10.
At 15 and 15, they would host.
Are
So
you
they
sure?
need 4. I think so. Their RPIs in the top 15. Those would be good wins. They only have the one bad loss. They really need to pull from Memphis.
Then the problem is Alabama's got better metrics than you, and they would have just beaten you.
Well, no, in that scenario I just described, they would win the series without. They got to win one of those series,
right?
If they beat Alabama, they would be ahead of them.
But let's say it's 1-2-1. Now you're up against Alabama.
Then you may be up
against
Alabama.
Got better metrics, and
I'm going to buy into the idea that that they all get there. The problem is I don't think anybody can be on the other side of the bracket, so we can't have the showdown between two in-state schools in the super regional. I don't think we're going to get that. And even if we did, if State were to get over to 8, I don't think Ole Miss or Southern could be 9. So probably not going to happen.
we got this message a second ago. This is Blake. Says it's time to move the Egg Bowl to the second or third game of the year and put LSU versus Ole Miss Thanksgiving week. That's the real rivalry for Ole Miss fans. This year it is. This year it is. It is. But you don't move your in-state rival to earlier in the season. You play your in-state rival at the end of the season. That's what you do.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what you do. This Egg Bowl in particular is a fascinating one, of course, depending on the records going into it. But what would it be, 6 of 7?
If Ole Miss were to win?
If Ole Miss wins.
Yeah, that's as that's as dominant as it's been since the 80s. So I'm trying to think 80s.
And you can never officially deliver a death blow to a program, especially in this era.
No.
But walking out of that stadium as a Mississippi State fan, if that's what goes down, would feel as defeated as you.
It depends on what the teams are coming into it. If State's been competitive all year, let's say State's 7-4 coming into that game. They've been good, right? And Ole Miss is, I think Ole Miss will probably be 8-3, 9-2 playing that game, right? But it's not so big a gap that. Yes, if that happens, yes. But if State fans walk in and Levy's already been fired because they're 3-8 at that point, it's like, well, what do we care at this point? So
losing the Egg Bowl and having not like a super inspiring season, and then Levy sticking around would be that's like purgatory disaster scenario.
So Ole Miss 83 through 90 won all but one. They won in 83, that's the kick that blew back. They won in 84, 85, 86, 80, 87 State wins. 88, 89, 90 Ole Miss won. That's when I grew up. That's what shaped Brian Hadad's views of Mississippi State and Ole Miss. There it is. Going to school on those Mondays after that is why I am the way I am now. So, so it's been a long time since you've had that kind of dominance. State has had a couple of 4 out of 5 stretches in there, but 6 out of 7 would be a big one for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, with how in-state recruiting could shape up, I mean, there's just a lot on the line in that game, and there always is, right? Bragging rights, all that stuff, but. And there's bigger picture things at play in this game in particular than a lot of them, if it shakes out the way that they're expected to anyway. Mm-hmm. Now, I've seen some over-unders that have State at like 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
The schedule's super hard, but 3.5 seems low.
Well, I mean, they play 10 Power 5 teams.
And then,
Levy has... Yeah. In 2 seasons, Levy has 2 wins over Power 5s. Or Power 4s, I should say. He's beaten Arkansas and Arizona State, both last year. So...
It has a loss against a non-Power 4.
No, but they only play 2 of them this year. He's got 9 conference games.
Right.
State plays ULM.
What I mean, and he has a loss against a non-power.
Oh, he does have one loss. Yeah. So, I mean, Levy is 5-18 as Mississippi State's head coach. It's perfectly acceptable if you have no faith in the guy and you don't think he's going to win more than 3 games this year. I'm not going to get mad at you for that because that's what you are what your record says you are. Yeah. And his record is 5-18. And I guess that would make him what? 2-14, something like that, against the Power Four.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it.
And so many missed opportunities. If you're looking for the reason for optimism, it's in that.
Yeah.
They weren't like Chad Morris, non-competitive every time they took the field last year.
If State had just found a way to win a couple of games where they had the lead in the fourth quarter, Tennessee and Texas, if they had kicked the field goal to beat Florida, if they had been even a 6-6 team, I think we'd look at State totally differently. But the way they blew those games,
if they had just won the bowl game.
There's that too. I mean, that would have given you some momentum, no doubt, because you would have been like, look what they were with Camario, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to have any optimism, I get it. I don't have a lot of optimism. I do think that they'll be better because I think Camario raises their ceiling, and I think Zach Arnett raises their floor. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So they'll be better defensively because Arnett's there. And that would have won at least one more game. And they'll get better quarterback play because they have a better athlete in there. That should get them one more game. And so now we're talking about a 7-5 football team. And again, I've said before, if Indiana can win a national title in 2 seasons, it's not overbearing to say State should be able to win 7 or 8 in year 3 of Jeff Lebby.
I've got some audio from Kirby Smart coming for your college football fix that'll lead credibility to exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so there you go.
John Talty will join us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team when we come back.
The sky keeps on turning. Don't know where I'll be tomorrow. Through the wheel in the sky keeps turning. Yeah. Wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
From the Venom.
Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Here comes more Sports Talk Mississippi.
You ready, guys?
On Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi, back with you here on a Thursday afternoon. We go down to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com. Go with the home team. My friend John Talty, CBS Sports National College Football writer. John, yesterday I had Kendall Rogers from D-Wayne Baseball on, and we started talking about contenders and pretenders. Now, obviously, we're pretty late in the baseball season here. Long way to go for football. 121 days, as we discussed earlier on the show. But I want to do that. I want to get some contenders and pretenders. I've got the CBS Sports Top 25 pulled up. So I'm just going to give you a team, and I want you to tell me, contender or pretender. And we'll start with your number 1 team, the Texas Longhorns, a team that was number 2 in the nation to start the year last year and didn't make the playoff. What about this year, contender or pretender?
I'm sticking with contender. I think that there's so much talent on that roster. I think that, what they've added and guys like Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers, but I also think that, a lot of people, I think, got locked in on Arch's early performance, and which was not great, obviously. That I think, maybe people didn't notice toward the end. I thought he had improved. So I'm still a believer in Arch, and so I'm going to be a believer in that team. It's a very tough schedule. So do I think they're going to finish the regular season number 1? Probably not, just because of how tough their schedule is. They might lose, 1 or 2 along the way. But I'm still a believer of them being in a title contender. I was a believer last year. That didn't pay off, so maybe I'll be a fool 2 years in a row. But I'm still a believer in Texas.
I'll skip Ohio State because I feel like everybody thinks they're a contender. What about Oregon? Feels like they're the team that they're always close but no cigar. Is this the year they can finally break through?
I It's tough. I picked them as a pretender, kind of like last year. We're picking kind of overrated, underrated. I had Oregon as one of my overrated teams, and I think in some ways I was proven wrong. In some ways I was proven right. And I will say, as things stand right now, I am not a Dante Moore believer. I just haven't quite seen it, especially relative to the talent that he has around him. So I would like to see Dante take a leap. When you think about some of those other upper echelon teams, like, I'm more of a believer of Julian Sain at Ohio State, more of a believer of Arch in Texas and some of these other guys. So I want to see Dante take that next step in his kind of trajectory. He certainly struggled mightily in the playoff, which put a role in, why they lost. I was at that game in Atlanta, which he threw a pick six, first play of the game to New York Jet now, D'Angelo Pons. And so there's some issues there, but I have them I don't view them as quite maybe as of an elite team as maybe where they are ranked to start, kind of headed out of the spring.
The big topic with Notre Dame is their schedule. It's really, really easy. Are they going to be up for it when they get to the playoff? What do you think about the Irish?
Yeah, I mean, they're the team that I think everyone's fallen in love with, right? People love some of the talent they have coming back. I think, we're now not only in the top 25, but we're also in the kind of the peak of the early 2027 mock drafts, right? And guys like, CJ Carr, Leonard Moore. I mean, they have multiple guys who could be pretty high draft picks a year from now. So the talent is there. I do like Marcus Freeman. And I think it will be interesting. And I am a believer in this theory of how you manage a challenging situation the way that they did a year ago, getting left out. I think that Freeman has the right mindset with it. And I think that can be something to be a motivating factor all offseason of leave no doubt, essentially. So I think that when you couple, CJ Carr making a jump up, the easy schedule, I do think they're a playoff team, and we'll see what happens. Once that gets into the mix, but I think they are a contender more than a pretender at this point.
Let's do two more with some relative local interest. I bet you can guess who they are. Number 9, you've got LSU. Lane Kiffin's first year, ton of money spent, great roster. I am not a Sam Leavitt believer, just basically because, John, I watched him play the worst defense in the SEC twice, and he wasn't particularly good in either game. Pretender or contender, the LSU Tigers?
I think they are a playoff contender and a title pretender.
Okay.
So I'm kind of splitting the baby there. But I think there's a very real chance they have the most expensive roster in college football. I think I might have even said this on this show in the past. So they have invested heavily. It's a challenging schedule, in my opinion, certainly more challenging than some of the other teams we've already talked about. I'm not the biggest Sam Leavitt believer, as well. I mean, it definitely got funky at the end at Arizona State. I think that was one where it's that was a mutual breakup, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
I am a believer, though, in Lane getting the most out of quarterbacks. We've seen him do it with a wide variety of guys over the course of his career. So I think if anyone can maximize Sam, I do think it could be Lane. But I just still think that it's hard to expect a lot year one. I know that the game's changed, but I just feel like it's going to be a little much that first year. He's got to return to Oxford. I've had that marked as a loss the whole way through. I just think that will be a little bit too much for Lane, a little bit too emotional, and I think he'll try to do maybe a little too much. But I think that there's a lot of talent. And if they are not a playoff team, then they would be one of the bigger busts of the season, in my opinion.
All right, last one we'll do, and then we'll move on to some other stuff here. But number 13, Ole Miss. From a talent perspective, this is probably one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country. There's obviously going to be good questions because it's first year of Golding doing everything. What about the Rebels? Pretender, contender, or do you want to go back to what you were saying, maybe a playoff contender but not really a title contender?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I land on them, Brian. I am a believer in Pete Golding. I think he came into an incredibly challenging situation at the end of last season and did a remarkable job. The fact they were able to keep quite a bit of their talent that, at least a few of them were very heavily rumored to be leaving to follow Lane. The fact he was able to retain a lot of those guys, I think, says a lot about him and kind of the infrastructure that Ole Miss has built in Oxford. I think that the defense will probably be improved. I think the team as a whole might be better. I think that, we all, of course, are going to have some questions about the offense, not the talent with Trinidad Chambliss and Kewan Lacey and some of the other guys. Like, I believe in that, but taking Lane and Charlie Weiss Jr. out of the mix, like two of the best offensive minds in the game, like I think we have some questions like, what is it going to look like? How involved is Pete in the offense? Does he want to do things a little bit differently than how aggressive Lane was as the head coach? So I do have some questions there, coming out of spring, but I like where they are. I think that they've done a good job. And again, I think some of the pieces that they've added from the portal really make sense. And you've seen, I think, more of Golding's influence there, where they're definitely investing more in defense than maybe they have at times under Lane, who would like some of the shiny offensive objects that were available.
Kirby Smart earlier today in an interview was talking about how he can't build depth anymore, that his old, especially the old Alabama teams that he was a part of, would just absolutely whip everybody in today's game. My question is, why does anybody think that that's a bad thing? That sounds great to me, John.
Well, it's a bad thing if you're Alabama or Kirby Smart, I guess, but I think it's a good thing for pretty much everybody else. So, if you're, it's like, being the high school bully, in freshman year, and then by senior year, everybody else got really big too, and you can't beat up on everybody the way you used to. It's like, well, it's probably better for the school ecosystem, but maybe not as good for the bully himself. And so that's, I think, what's kind of going on. Like, personally, I think maybe this is controversial to say in the South, but like, a team like Indiana being good and winning a national championship, I think is good for the health of the sport, because now you have a fan base that's going to be invested in a way it never has before. I mean, at Ole Miss, at Mississippi State, like, why can't it be us? Why can't we have the right kind of combination of infrastructure, coaching talent, player talent to make a run? So I think that the parity that is now, I think, really taking hold in the sport is a good thing. And, I've heard Nick Saban talk about this plenty of times over the years. And, what he came back to over and over again is like, look to the NFL. One of the strengths of the NFL is the parity, that teams can be bad one year, a playoff team the next year. Like, having more of that, I think, in college football is a good thing for a lot of programs. Like, I can't tell you, I covered probably 4 or 5 Alabama, Clemson, either playoff games or national championship games. And like, first couple of times it's great. By the end, you're like, I've seen this matchup a bunch of times. Like, now we're getting teams we've never seen before, and I think that's a good thing for a lot of people.
I enjoy the college football palate cleanser with John Talty. He comes on here, refreshes us. We don't have to talk about alignments and expansions. We just talk about some college football. John, my friend, always appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
John Talty, CBS Sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. Somebody says, where does Ole Miss have top 5 talent? Is there a metric for that? They probably don't have top 5 talent top to bottom, right? 1 through 85. But if I've got the all-SEC quarterback, an all-SEC running back, an all-SEC wide receiver, and 3 potential all-SEC guys on the defensive front, that's a talented football team. I think bringing back Chambliss and Lacey alone would have been good enough for a top 10 ranking if Kiffin were back.
How many coaches would trade their roster for Ole Miss's right now? Almost all of the
what
league.
Ole Miss has on their roster, if Kiffin were back, they'd be a top 5 team in the country. No question in my mind whatsoever. So
we'll be right back. Sports Talk Mississippi.
From theSeabrook.com.
What do they want?
Exciting news.
Brace yourself.
More Sports Talk Mississippi. Now.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. We got this during that interview on the text line. Did he not watch Golding versus 3 of the best teams in the nation? Well, a lot of things can be true at the same time. I wouldn't call Tulane one of the 3 best teams in the nation. However, They did beat Georgia and had a ball in the end zone, in the air, towards the end zone, to beat Miami. And I don't think, I mean, we talked about it a lot. I don't think nationally people quite understand the miracle, frankly, that Pete Golding performed during the chaos of Kiffin's departure. They're going to say all the right things now. Especially, it's clear that Pete Golding has no interest in talking about the past. Right. He doesn't like talking about it. I mean, in general, not even Lane Kiffin. He doesn't like talking about last season. We played a clip yesterday. He haven't won anything. Let's move on. It doesn't matter. He's a very, I want to talk about right now and not relitigate the past kind of guy. So you're not going to get him to talk about that anymore. But it was chaotic. It was insane. He had guys that he was coaching, that he had coaching his players, recruiting those same players to go somewhere else while they were preparing for the playoffs. And navigating all of that was under-discussed nationally. People don't quite understand how difficult of a job that he had in front of him and how good he did during that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go win 11 games this year. I'm extremely impressed by how he handled it. Especially talking to players and people close to players about the stuff that he dealt with, I'm extremely impressed. I am more confident in him winning games at Ole Miss than not succeeding because of how well that all went down. But that was Charlie Weiss Jr.'s offense in the playoff game against Tulane, in the Sugar Bowl, in the Fiesta Bowl. That was Weiss's offense. That was all of the stuff they were doing offensively that was installed by the previous head coach, and they were just continuing that. This season, John David Baker is a disciple of that offense. He was sitting next to Charlie Weiss in all of the meetings, at the practices, in the booth, during the games, calls a similar offense, but he is not the same guy. He is a different guy. There is a new running backs coach. There is a new wide receivers coach. There is a new tight ends coach. There is a new GM. There are differences now. What he had to do in the playoff was try to keep the ship afloat. And then, of course, the game planning and game management was great. Again, really good signs there. Mm-hmm. But now there is new and there is different. And it is his alone to be made his alone. And it's fair to wonder if that will work. You have a lot of evidence to suggest that it will, but it doesn't mean you know for sure. And so John saying, I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like, is a totally fair and fine position to have because it is his and his alone now.
He's first-time head coach. And, you know, it's almost like he got thrown into the deep end and he figured out how to swim. Now, that's great. Now can you swim the whole race? That's where we are right now. You know, yeah, it's one thing to survive, but now you got to start at the beginning and make it all the way to the end. And that's a different animal than just, you know, where you got dropped in there. So, yes, he handled great. He did a great job under immense and almost unfair circumstances.
You had a coach at practice talking about LSU with a player at practice going into a playoff game. People heard it. Like, during practice, you have a coach talking about, oh, man, I can't wait to see you do that in Baton Rouge with me. It was that bad. Yeah.
Well, now it's you know, get through the season. All of it rides on you. Here's the other thing, too, is he really didn't have a ton of pressure. Like, they were going to beat Tulane, right? But if they had lost to Georgia, Ole Miss fans would have been like, man, this was an unbelievable season. And Golding did the best he could, put it in some bad circumstances. We don't hold him any ill will, right? There's real pressure now. There's pressure week one. You got to win these games. They expect that of you. They gave you another top-ranked transfer portal class. They continue to support the program. It's your turn to deliver now. So how does he handle those expectations? We're going to have to find out.
We are going to have to find out. But
I just said that.
I know. I know. Man, 601-879-4395. Somebody says Charlie Weiss leaving hurts more than Lane. Do
you agree with that?
I don't know how to feel about that statement. I'm going to have to think on that for a little bit.
Can I be honest with you? That it sounds like sour grapes. I mean, you have to admit, on the surface, it sounds like sour grapes. It sounds like you're saying that it's losing the offensive coordinator was a bigger deal than losing the head coach. And look, I know I've heard all the stuff that he wasn't as in tune and attached as you'd want your head coach to be. I get that.
He was certainly not.
But that guy was Ole Miss football for the last 5 years. Lane Kiffin was that program. They've had great players go through there, but he was the guy, he was the talisman that everybody kind of focused on. And now he's gone. It just, it comes across as, think about when
from a preparing for a game perspective,
maybe.
Yes.
But think about like when
from
Mullen,
a program stuff, no.
Yeah. If when Mullen left, if I had said, Billy Gonzalez is the big loss there. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. That's how that comes across to me. Kiffin leaving is a huge deal. All right. He came to Ole Miss when they were at a really low point. He immediately gave them credibility. He turned them into a winner almost overnight. If you had played a regular season schedule in 2020, not a COVID schedule, and had played 4 non-conference games, you're probably an 8 or 9 win team that year at Ole Miss. The year before that, they were 4-8. I feel like I understand all the off-the-field stuff and the weirdness, and I get it. Really, I do. But the on-the-field results really can't be denied with this guy. He won a ton of games, more than anybody prior to him other than Johnny Vaught. You can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. You can't.
Someone's asking win predictions. Guys, it's April 30th.
It's April. Yeah, we got time for that. No, I stand by. So I don't agree with the statement.
Okay.
That was texted. I do think if you're like preparing for a game, let's do it this way. If the Sugar Bowl was coached by Lane but Charlie had left, I think they would have lost. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? If Lane stayed but Charlie left, I think they would have lost the game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But program management, program billboard, all that stuff, yes.
You know why I agree with you on that, especially when we're talking about the Sugar Bowl? Out. Well, no, not only that, just Golding kicked those field goals. Those ended up mattering. Lane would not have kicked any of those field goals. He would have gone for it every time, and maybe you get them and maybe you don't, but just one of them, not getting one of those field goals would have made a difference.
Somebody says Ole Miss agreed to let them continue. They did. They had no choice. I don't know this for a fact, so I will just tell you something that I've heard, and Keith Carter might be listening right now and yelling and saying, no, you're wrong. I think they were under the impression that they had to keep the staff in place in order for the selection committee to not punish them. That was a feeling that got to keep the staff together, or else if they all leave,
which I think
the committee's going to punish them.
I think that would have been a real thing.
I think so,
because
too.
Going back a year with Florida State when they lost all their players, they were like, they lost their quarterbacks. They were like, well, it's not the same team anymore. I think if Ole Miss's entire staff, sans Golding, had abandoned them, they would have said that's not the same team, and maybe we need to talk about not putting them in.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
Somebody, I guess not listening, says Charlie Weiss is not better than Lane. That is ridiculous. He is the one that did all of the game planning and stuff. It was because what about the offense changed after Lane left? They coached 3 games without him. What changed about the offense? Nothing.
Yeah.
I did this, or it bothered me when people did this, I should say. Every time the offense did poorly, it was Charlie's fault. Every time it did well, it was Lane's, to his credit. It drove me nuts. And to Lane's credit, he said at one point during this last season, you guys up here criticize Charlie all the time. I don't hear you now.
Yeah.
You know, it was... No, he's really good. He's really good. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten a head coaching shot yet. Like a legitimate one. I'm sure he could have gone and coached at Elon or something.
Right.
There was thought that USF was going to give him a shot, but they went with Brian Hartline, which I think that'll work out for them. He's a rock star.
When we come back, there was an interesting tweet today about South Florida that it's just funny to read it out loud. We'll do it when we come back. Sports Talk Mississippi with you here on a Thursday. A funny tweet about South Florida football. You'll laugh when you hear it, especially if you're a Mississippi State fan. We'll be right back.
Or Sports Talk Mississippi now.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Borkey and Hadad with you. One of our resident Southern Miss fans thinks, Hadad, we were comparing Pete Golding to the greatest coaches of all time.
That guy.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, dude, if you're listening right now. You're real annoying. I just got to tell you. I don't want to read your tweet, your text. It's a waste of my time. You're just real annoying. You're like,
but he's not vulgar, so we're not going to block him.
You're not going to block anything, but it's just like you're just one of those people who's just waiting to be offended. Like you're like the person who walks into the restaurant ready to complain. That's you. Like we're just saying that Golding did a good job last year.
Good job.
But we will wait, and I said to myself, like, the pressure's on now. You got to deliver.
Yes.
Well, it's very much wait. Whatever.
That means he's Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, Johnny Vaught, Bill Belichick, all mixed into one, according to this guy. Look at us.
It's a badge of honor. Well, wear it wherever you want, buddy. All right. From the Barstool USF account, University of South Florida. Have you seen this tweet?
I have, actually.
Okay. I was wishing you had not because I just love an honest reaction, but. The vibes around Michael Van Buren in spring ball are not great right now. Very real possibility Luke Kromenhoek is our starting quarterback week 1. What? Did somebody kidnap this guy? Did we go back in time? Like, I had forgotten they were both there. But that's hilarious to me. Hilarious that Van Buren and Kromenhoek, both of whom played at Mississippi State, are now there at South Florida. That's when you mentioned Brian Hartline, immediately I was like, oh, wait. I saw this earlier today. That cracked me up to no end. So the Barstool account here, I got to give them some credit. Only 8,000 followers. They get a lot of likes.
I don't know if you've seen. Whoever's running that account is doing an excellent job of trolling the faces off of Auburn fans.
That's outstanding.
Oh, he's getting Auburn fans bad.
So, but this had 78 responses to it, and a lot of them are State fans who are like, what? Like, a lot of, did you go back in time? Are you sure this isn't the Barstool Hail State account? Something like that, yeah. So, Van Buren and Kromenhoek feel the excitement week 1 for South Florida. When I saw that this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, that could be. But there for the grace of God, go I.
Yeah. Do you see, there was no greater, these two teams are not on the same playing field example of when Ryan Day had Brian Hartline sitting next to him at the draft in the green room with all of the Ohio State players. So Brian Hartline got to give them all hugs and all that stuff. He was sitting right next to Ryan Day. He's a head coach technically playing for the same championship that Ryan Day is. And Ryan was like, Brian, you can sit right next to me, brother.
Do you think that if Ole Miss had a first rounder, that Kiffin would have been in the green room with them?
No.
No, I don't either.
No.
Like, I'm trying to think who that player could have been. Like, if Kewan Lacey had come out this year and had, been a first-round running back, which he could have been. I mean, the guy for the backup for the Notre Dame got to be a first-rounder. Why couldn't Kewan Lacey?
Still.
He's a good player.
I know, but
sometimes it just be that way.
2 first-round running backs.
But yeah, would Kewan Lacey have allowed? What about Weiss? We're talking about this. We're having this debate.
Yeah, like if Stribling was in the green room, who would have been sitting with him? Golding would have been there.
Golding would have been there, but would Weiss have been allowed to be there? I don't know the answer. That's a good question. It's not a problem next year.
Not a problem next year.
This year it would have been something interesting. To see. Yeah.
I think Stribling spent his draft in Hawaii. I think that's where he was hanging out, waiting for his.
You know
phone
who
call.
else is from Hawaii? The magnificent Morocco.
I didn't know that.
He was from Honolulu.
I didn't know that.
I'm still mad about that. Like when imagine working on a sports talk show with a couple of guys who graduated from Ole Miss. They follow Ole Miss football as closely as anybody in the country, and I got to find out from like Mike Greenberg that
I didn't know
this guy is related. And these two guys, by the way, they know you're a huge fan of professional wrestling, and they had no knowledge of this situation.
Somebody asked,
ridiculous.
Do you think Weiss made a good move going to LSU? I've often
what were
wondered.
The other options? Staying at Ole Miss?
Staying at Ole Miss. He could have.
He got a big raise out of it, so I would say going.
Yeah, he got that contract.
Yeah.
The one where he can't be the second place in terms of.
He will always be the best,
highest paid. I do wonder if it would benefit him to get out under from Kiffin's shadow, though. Mm-hmm. Because nobody gives him credit. Even after the playoff run, he doesn't get any credit. If LSU has a good offense this year, oh, wow, look at what Kiffin did with Sam Leavitt. Nobody's going to even say anything about Weiss. And part of me wonders, at what point does he look at it and think, I need to prove to people that I can do this too. Mm. But there's a real chance he's getting a head job soon. Somebody asked, should State consider him if LSU has a good year offensively and Lebby doesn't work out? No, go get a head coach.
Yeah, you got to get a head coach. It'd be funny.
It would be funny.
It'd be really funny. But no, State. If Lebby doesn't work, you have to go get a head coach, somebody who's been in charge of a program, no question.
We'll be back for the college football fix. Kirby Smart talking about depth and the fact that he doesn't have any. I'll play you the audio when we come back.
It's time to get real. Real sports talk for Mississippi.
It's time for you to get real with it.
Sports Talk Mississippi continues on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Welcome back in Sports Talk Mississippi, Hour 3. What are you smiling about? What happened?
That's a group text thing. No one.
Oh, no. What? Are they making fun of me?
No. It has literally nothing to do with you, this show, anything.
All right, good. Because right now, it's time for the college football fix. We don't have time for shenanigans. It's time to get serious.
You mean shenanigans?
Oh.
The college football fix is driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. Built Ford tough. That's the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. We're not waiting around any longer. You need a new truck right now? The place to get one is your Mississippi Ford dealers. Test drive one. You'll see. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Kirby Smart was at the Regions Tradition. Maybe we should consider doing a remote from the Regions Tradition over in Birmingham because they force all of the coaches in the SEC that get invited anyway to do interviews. It's great. But Kirby Smart at the Regions Tradition, this is our friends at the next round, got to catch up with him and asked him you'll hear the question, actually, but this is related to depth in college football today versus back when he was the defensive coordinator at Alabama.
You were in Tuscaloosa and then early at Georgia to now. How much has the depth changed on your roster?
Man.
The 1 to 2, 2 to 3s.
I tell people all the time, I was like, our best Alabama teams, I'm going to go 2012, 13, 14, 15, would beat the dog out of all these teams right now because they could practice different and they were deeper. Okay? The game has not changed that much from 2012 to 2025, but the roster has, and those teams would clubber lane somebody. They would just physically beat you. And I look at our team now and I go, oh, man, oh, God, we don't have the depth we had. We're not as good as we were. We're not going to be there. And then we go out there and win the SEC. And I'm like, it's just relative. it's relative. It's like everybody's going. I'm not saying going down because there's an Indiana, there's a Michigan, but relative, it's going down. Like there's not as much talent acquisition and much as talent on a team to be able to just develop and grow. I'm playing younger players. I got kids that would have never played at Georgia when I got there or at Alabama I was there that are having to play now.
Right.
Because you don't have enough.
All right. A lot to unpack in just 1 minute. I will defend him. He's not complaining, by the way. That's not complaining.
I want to say, first off, saying they'll clubber lang you is hilarious. Great reference.
But that doesn't strike me as complaining.
No, he is simply speaking factually that 10 years ago you had so much depth, and we've talked about that. Like, they would just stack 5-star kids because nobody could transfer out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that anymore. So he's not complaining. He's simply saying, 10 years ago, you had super teams. You don't have that as much anymore.
And to me, I know we all want rules and things to get reined in, but this is such a great thing that Kirby Smart is getting behind a microphone and saying, I have to play guys that I would never have played before because I can't keep the depth that I was able to in the past. This is something that part of me wonders if most people that think that college football was better in the past are simply just saying that because of nostalgia. They were younger and happier, and therefore things were better.
A lot of them are saying it because they just don't like NIL. They don't like the transfer portal.
Well, there's that too. But in those years Kirby Smart is talking about, college football wasn't great then. Mm-hmm. You were just convinced that your team going to the Music City Bowl meant something.
Right.
But your program had no. There was a dozen programs at most in college football.
Oh, dozens being generous.
Being very generous. That actually had the players that could go win at the highest level. On top of the 14 playoff existing, where 11-1 Big 12 champion Baylor doesn't get the chance to play for a championship. They're not even allowed to play for one when they're good. College football wasn't great back then. It's so much more accessible for your team now. And here's the head coach at Georgia, who's still running a great program, by the way. Kirby's adapted to this era. He's got a great program. And he is out front saying, I can't do it the way I used to. And if you're an Ole Miss fan and you're a Mississippi State fan listening to this should be good to you. And hey, Dad, I tweeted earlier, I said, this is a great thing, actually. Don't let people sell you on college football being great in 2014. 99% of programs were hopeless to win at the highest level. You were just convinced the Music City Bowl meant something. Mm-hmm. And I've got a Mississippi State fan in the reply saying, I'd prefer to go back to this. Why? Why would you prefer to go back to the time where Georgia and Alabama could take all of the players from you?
Because 10 years ago, Mississippi State was good in football. And maybe they weren't going to win a national title.
But they were never going to win a national title.
But you got to think about this from a Mississippi State fan's perspective, right? 5-7, 2-10, 5-8. Like, are you telling me you wouldn't want to go back to being 8-4, 9-3, and going to a ball?
That's not an era issue. That's a coaching issue.
Well, I agree. I don't disagree with you. But just from the Mississippi State fan perspective, yeah, I would love to go back to those years where you're just going to bowl games every year. And yeah, you're not going to win a national title. Do I care? Do I truly care if if I'm a Mississippi State fan in that era of college football and my team is consistently winning 8, 9, 10 games, they're winning egg bowls, they're winning bowl games, do I really care that they're not winning the national title? No, I don't. I don't. It's different for Ole Miss and for you because now you've had a taste of the big time. You had a little taste.
And now that you get the taste,
you can't get it out of your mouth.
You can't get rid of it. Once it hits your
lips, Borkey, it's just so good.
You can't get rid of it.
So yeah, that's the thing.
But Dan Mullen in this era at Mississippi State would be competing for the playoff.
He would be complete, and maybe that opinion would be different in your scenario. But in the real world where we are right now, what Mississippi State fan wouldn't want to take a time trip back to 2014, 2015?
Or you can take that time machine over to Vegas and hire Dan Mullen back.
One of those two, yeah.
I've looked at all the eras. I saw Josh Pate tweet something that college football was best from 95 to 2005. And frankly, I can kind of get on board with that.
he talked about like there's 12 different national champions.
11 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. That was fun. Those were fun times. Now,
and that was before it was mega commercialized and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I am convinced that everybody thinks the college football that they had when they were a young person was the best time because your life was the best at that time.
You're probably not wrong.
Because, I mean, think about a 16-year-old Ole Miss fan today. In 10, 20 years, he's going to think, man, NIL era was the greatest. We need to go back to that kind of thing.
And people are hitting us up, and they're correct. They're saying they were still getting paid back then. Yes, they were. But they weren't having $4 and $5 and $6 million deals.
Well, not only that, there were enough people clearly that had their head buried in the sand and thought that they weren't.
Yeah. Well, but again, back then, like Cam Newton was going to come to Mississippi State for $180,000. Now, that same recruitment, he would probably be a $10 million player.
$180,000 is his bi-monthly check.
Yeah, that's what he makes a month.
Not even.
So, yeah, not even. Yeah, so yes, they were absolutely getting paid under the table, but it wasn't like this. And again, I preface it again, I don't have a problem with it. Right? This capitalism, NIL is peak capitalism. It is as Adam Smith as you could ever want it to be. When Adam Smith was writing The Wealth of Nations, he was talking about Jordan Seaton going to LSU and getting God knows how much money for 1 year's worth of work. Yes. That's what he was talking about. This is as American as apple pie, which I don't like. I'm not a big apple pie guy. So
I like it with ice cream on top.
Yeah.
And then you're exactly right. Indiana would beg to differ. I mean, that's what has.
But they're not a super team.
They're not. But that's exactly the point, though.
They had a great season. They're super well coached. They're disciplined, but they're not a super team. I agree with Kirby Smart. Like 2012 Alabama, the one that won the national title and just murdered Notre Dame, they would crush this Indiana team.
They would.
I absolutely believe that.
But does anybody that is a fan or a coach or a supporter financially or otherwise of a program like in Indiana care what 2012 Alabama would have done to them?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't – it can't get lost on people. That is as frustrating as some of the crap is around college football. You listening right now, your team has never had a better chance to compete for a championship than right now today.
No, you're not wrong.
In the modern era, the post-integration era of college football.
So Parker Fleming, whose Stats of War on Twitter, tweeted at Josh Pate. There's a graph that says all good music came after I was born and before I hit 35, and shows how Americans rate songs, and it is 100% that. The best music came after I was born, but before I hit 35. And are my favorite songs in there? Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Metallica. Yeah, they're all Van Halen. They're all in there. Van Halen, maybe not so much, but still.
Yeah. A lot of your messages have come in. We will get to some of those. That's your college football fix, driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealer. We'll be back.
From the Venable.
Your number one for sports talk.
Anyone? Come on, don't be shy.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Bingo, man, bingo.
Super Talk Mississippi.
This band didn't do anything before I was born, or didn't do anything after I was born. As much. They did some things, but don't get me wrong. Their best stuff is before I was born.
That, of course, is Rush. I'm Michael Borkey. He's Brian Hadad. So glad that you guys are with us.
So, your favorite band is a band that all of their work before you were born.
Yeah, every Led Zeppelin album was written before I was born.
Yeah, I mean, they were done as a band in the early 80s when John Bonham passed away. My favorite band is Pearl Jam. All of it is in the wheelhouse that we were just talking about. My favorite older band is Van Halen, but a lot of their stuff is I'm alive.
Yeah.
Like when did Van Halen's first album come out? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Van Halen 1.
But like I really loved OAR and Dave Matthews and that kind of stuff.
I was born when Van Halen's first album came out. So there you go. It's funny how that's a good point though.
People have affinity for what college football was when they were alive. Like I don't know how. I really truly don't know how you can watch what happened in each of the last 2 years and think we should have stayed at 4 or we should have stayed at the BCS. I mean, just today, somebody replied to my tweet and was like, well, 2014 Baylor won back-to-back Big 12s. That meant something. Yeah, they won 11-1 and were left out of the playoff. They were not allowed to compete for a championship.
I don't know. Well, you know they got screwed.
Yes, exactly.
And by the way, it shouldn't have been Baylor.
The TCU was better than Baylor.
TCU was better than them. Ole Miss fans will attest to that.
They found out that day.
But, I just understand, like, if you're a fan of a team that's having success in this era, you want to be in this era. It's just like anything else. It's like, you know, if you were with the love of your life in 2014, but then she left you in 2019, you don't want to be in 2019. You want to be in 2014. So it's when the good times were happening. What is the quote from The Office? I wish we knew when the good old days. I wish we knew we were in the good old days before they were over, or something like that.
I wish we knew it was the good old days when we were in them, or something like that. Yeah,
something like that. So it's like, you know, Mississippi State fans in 2014 didn't realize they were in the good old days. They were thinking, okay, Dan Mullen's going to be here, and even if he goes, this program's going to be fine. We built it up to the point where it's going to be a year in, year out thing, and you found out pretty quick that it wasn't the case. So I understand where that guy was coming from. He wants to go back to what he's really saying at the heart of his statement is, I want to go back to a time where the team I cheered for was good at college football.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. He's like, I could care less about the outside. I could care less about everything that's happening outside of the maroon and white bubble in that scenario. My team was good. They are no longer good. I want to go back. Surely you can understand.
I understand it. It's the era is being used as a scapegoat for incompetency. What program is losing but doing everything right? They hired a great coach, and they've adapted to the era, and they're using the portal. What program is that? There isn't one.
Hogman's like, you guys willing to be bet on your football teams this year? Y'all are talking high again. Hogman.
Hadad just said that 3 as an over-under is acceptable. What are you talking about, dude?
But also, Hogman, Arkansas lost to State and Ole Miss last year. What are we doing here? Like State won one SEC game last year. It was Arkansas. Also, Ole Miss doesn't play Arkansas, do they?
No.
So neither does State. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, Hogman, I'll take your bet.
What are we betting on? Yeah.
I'll take your bet right now, Hogman.
Yeah.
No, they do play Auburn, though, instead of Arkansas.
Yeah, I grew up a Virginia Tech fan and still remember when they played Florida State for the championship. Every sport has different eras. Exactly. And that was a one-man team, that Virginia Tech team. They had some good players, but, man, Michael Vick just carried them to a national title.
Well, I bet Alabama wants to go back.
Alabama fans are the opposite, are the same. If an Alabama fan saw that tweet, they'd be like, you're darn right. It was much better in 2014, 2015. 2012 through the era that Smart mentioned. So that's a national title. Alabama was the best team in the country in 2013, and they stupidly decided to try to kick a field goal with 1 second left. They should have gone to overtime with Auburn. If they do that, they probably win another national title.
Yeah.
2014, they lost in the first round of the playoffs to a really good Ohio State team. 2015, they won the national title. So, yeah, Bama fans would sign up to go back right now.
Somebody says it's not the expanded playoff format, it's the constant transferring and lack of team building. See, but okay. Good. Kirby Smart at Georgia is outright admitting that he has to play players he doesn't want to play because he can't stack his roster like he used to. Good. If you have the coach at Ole Miss and State saying, guys, I can't build a roster. I can't do it. I can't get good players. I'm having to reach. I playing walk-ons as running backs in the swamp. Wait a minute. I got that reference wrong. It wasn't a walk-on. It was a wide receiver that they played at running back for a game. But if it was Lebby and Golding saying, I can't build a roster, I don't have any good players, and I can't get them, if it was Kirk Cignetti saying that, if it was Jeff Brom saying that, the coaches at those kind of programs, then you got a problem. But when you've got Kirby Smart saying it, you don't got a problem. When you've got Nick Saban calling, and I agree with the sentiment, sort of, but he said we need to return to equilibrium, as if we ever had equilibrium. That's just the most laughable thing that he keeps saying. He keeps trying to pretend that in his day, everything was equal. And that's garbage. But whatever. When you've got guys like that talking about what they're talking about, it's good for you. So I don't care what's bad for the Alabamas of the world.
Right.
Or the Georgias of the world. Because I live right here in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. And I want you to feel what those people felt for years.
Right.
You Ole Miss fans, you know what I'm talking about. And you didn't even win a championship last year, but that feeling is unbelievable.
Right. Like I said, once you get that taste of winning, it's tough to get rid of it. You know, winning, and look, in the best possible way, winning is an addiction. Once you start to win, you know, that's what we were talking about gambling the other day, right? I would imagine almost every gambling addiction started with somebody who had a big night at the casino, right? Nobody went to the casino, lost $500 and said, can't wait to do that again, right? It's the guy who goes in there and wins $500, and then he's like, man, this is great. You know, and you're talking to a guy. I've had a couple of nights like that. I've had a couple of the other kind of nights. And that rush is something. But winning is what, is what sports is supposed to be about. At its very core, it's about winning.
Go ahead.
No,
I was an anecdote about the casino reference.
What's your first big night?
No, my first night ever at a casino. Mm-hmm. We went to Tunica. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember the casino, but just a group of us packed into an SUV. Mm-hmm. And I walk into the casino. I go to the bathroom. I get a drink. I find my buddy at a blackjack table. I sit down next to him. He is sweating already.
Oh, God.
His shirt is unbuttoned. He's got his hands in his face. And I'm like, are you okay? He goes, I just lost $250. It's like, I've been in here 5 minutes. How did that happen?
I've been there. At the same time, like, is that my biggest day? My biggest day at a casino, we were coming back from Baton Rouge. We had been at a wedding, and we decided to stop at there's one in Natchez. I won't give any free pub. It's Pearl River Resort. It's so good to us.
Yeah.
But long story short, I was in Natchez. And we were rolling craps. And I'm going to give give everybody in the world right now a piece of life advice. You ready? If you're at the craps table and an old white guy wearing a cowboy hat and a bolo tie shows up, get ready to win money. Just start betting what he's betting. And I just remember there was a point where a guy came over to me. He had a black chip, 100, and he was like, hey, can you give me some greens? And I said, yeah, sure. And I gave him 4 greens, and I looked down, and I had a stack of greens like this with a couple of blacks on top. I was like, how much am I up? I started with $100. Like, how much am I up? And I was like, don't look. Don't look. We'll just roll until this guy craps out. And when he finally crapped out, me and my buddy were like, we're out of here. And I was up like $600.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah. So my biggest nights have always been the 2 times I've won, the 2 or 3 times I've won big. It's either I've won big at craps or the video poker machines that will let you play double it up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where it's like you can just pick the high card.
Yeah.
I've gotten on a couple of hot streaks there and walked away with a few $100s. But I've never had like a 4 or 5 figure night. So
the only gambling advice I have is
be careful. Don't do it.
You've got to know when to hold them.
Know when to fold them. know when to walk away,
and then
know when to run. And like I just said, never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealers are done. We'll be back here in the Pearl River Resort Studios when we return.
From the Seabirds, Talk, Mississippi. Here we go. Super Talk, Mississippi.
Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. So many things that I want to say. You know I like my girls a little bit older.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. And today's edition of You Really Can't Make This Up.
This is an unbelievable job by CBS Sports.
Saw this earlier today, but who was it Jeff that sent it? No, it was unnamed texter, but really appreciate you guys sending this in.
Yeah.
Because it underscores the Brennan Sorsby thing and where it's gone.
It goes back to what we were talking about how you'll have this story on the bottom line, and then immediately it's followed by, here's the lines for all the games tonight.
CBS has since edited the article, but this was in it.
Screenshots are forever. You want me to read it?
And a story written about Brennan Sorsby.
Right.
This is the second so I'll read the first paragraph. Texas Tech quarterback Brennan Sorsby's away from the team indefinitely after entering a gambling addiction program which threatens his status for the upcoming season as the Red Raiders' prized possession from the 2026 transfer portal cycle. That's paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. Texas Tech was an overwhelming favorite to repeat as Big 12 champions after acquiring Sorsby this offseason, but now has moved to even money at plus 100 via FanDuel Sportsbook. After Monday's news, the Red Raiders' projected win total has also decreased, going from 11.5 at opening to 10.5 victories, and Sorsby's no longer FanDuel's Heisman Trophy odds list after opening at plus 2,500 just outside of the top 10.
It really is. It really is like AI or a simulation. Like there's some idiocracy here, right?
Yes.
You know, like it's got what plants crave. That's what just happened there. Like, hey, this guy has a gambling problem. Now here are all the odds that are affected by him going away from the team.
Yeah.
It's craziness. It really is.
And we have been texted this a few times. I don't think it's inappropriate to address it. We have a partner with a casino on this show, and it's a great partner.
And we encourage you to gamble responsibly. And here's the difference, and here's where I think that we have gone too far. Because if you want to bet on sports in Mississippi, you have to get in your car and go to the physical location where it's highly regulated. And people, there's cameras everywhere, and they can see you, and they track you, and they know all of that. It is a very highly regulated thing. If Trinidad Chambliss wanted to sports gamble in Mississippi like Brennan Sorsby did, he would have to get in the car and drive to a casino and do it there where he would be immediately caught. But when you're in a state where you can download 10 different apps and get $300 in bonus bets on each one of them. Right.
And then you put the game on, and there it is. Anybody has access to that. And it's so easy to do. A teenager that has their dad's credit card loaded into their iPhone can gamble on sports.
Right.
So that is the difference, and that's why I am comfortable with our partnership with Pearl River Resort, and I'm uncomfortable with the ease of access that we have in sports betting across the country. Mississippi is different in that regard. I mean, if FanDuel was a partner of our show, I would be really uncomfortable right now, I think.
Well, I'm interested. This is something that, we don't know if it's happening or not, but is FanDuel reaching out to their sponsors and being like, hey, maybe not so much with the coverage of this?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think those conversations are being had.
I mean,
don't you?
These people know where their bread is buttered. Have
Right.
you noticed that the college basketball media at large is not covering the NCAA tournament expansion?
Right.
Why do you think that is?
Because the NCAA,
is telling them not to.
Telling them not to.
That would not surprise me at all. I mean, I've told you guys this before. A sports ticketing app, I guess through an algorithm, had tracked my tweets, essentially dogging the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to buy me out. They offered me a sponsorship. And I said no.
It's ridiculous. Tell me exactly who that was so that I won't be followed by them. Tell me who they were, and did they give you like an email address and a contact number? I'll call them and tell them I don't want anything to do with them.
But they reached out, and I mean, it was clearly somebody that was like, we've seen, and we would like to have a conversation and, sponsor you.
I would have at least gotten a dinner out of them, Borkey. I mean, you could have at least gotten a steak or something.
And it wasn't that much money either.
I don't care. I still get a steak.
It was a high 3-figure number that they wanted to give me for me to stop tweeting.
Yeah.
And I need high 3-figure numbers right now, but I couldn't do it.
Did you say 3 figures?
Yes.
There's no such thing as 3 figures, okay?
Yes, there is.
If there's not a comma, there's no figures, all right?
It was like $900 that they wanted to offer me.
They offered you a few $100. Let's just call it what it is.
But they wanted to have conversations to explore something deeper, but it was like, here's some hush money. Will you stop tweeting? Is what it was.
I need to start tweeting about this. I found a way to put a little extra money in my pocket.
They are heavily involved in a lot of sports media.
Very good.
Ticketing app.
Should I tag them in this tweet? Or I don't know. This was ticket offices, right? This wasn't gambling. This was tickets, right?
Somebody says, Borkey's points are BS because you can do that here with a number of apps, maybe use the offshore loopholes, but they still exist. They do. But the ease of access does not exist here the way it does other places. You have to use VPNs, you have to use workarounds, and if you get caught, you're breaking the law.
Right.
16-year-olds still drink beer. I agree with the legal drinking age. Although, unless you serve the military. I think if you join the military at 18, your military ID should allow you to consume alcohol if you'd like. But, I mean, I drank in high school sometimes. So.
For shame.
But it was hard to get, and it was hard to do, and we had to hide it. And I got caught once, and it never happened again.
It was not hard to get for me. Growing up, across the river from a state where the drinking age was 18, it was actually quite easy to get. So, yeah. But I'm an outlier. The Vicksburg crew, we're outliers on that one.
We had a harder time.
Yeah. Nothing like just getting in the car and driving across the bridge and coming back with 2 half-gallons of Jack Daniels. That happened quite often. I'll just go ahead and let you know.
We ended up needing a friend's older brother.
Right. Everybody had the older brother, the cousin.
Yeah.
They didn't mind doing it. Yeah. That was always a thing.
Yeah. But, yes, there are workarounds. But, our one remaining dog is a good dog. Doesn't run away. I still want my fence to not have any holes in it.
Right.
That kind of stuff. And the more protections you have, the better. As opposed to a free-for-all that any person with an iPhone can obtain a crippling gambling addiction. You know? That's why they check your ID at the liquor store.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
They're supposed to.
Sometimes they don't.
They're supposed to. So, yeah, just a wild. I can't believe CBS hit publish on that article. Can't believe it.
As soon as, the first editor saw it, he was like, what the? You know what? That happens. Like, dude! That was said today. Somewhere in the hallowed halls of CBS Sports, someone said, dude! Really loud.
Like, hey, Brad. What?
Like, who wrote that article?
Brad Crawford.
Oh, Brad. I am Jack's complete lack of surprise. Okay. Never mind. I get it now. That guy.
Yeah. So anyway, wild stuff. He's not the last. You hope it's not your team because he's not the last. There will be more. Luckily, in football, there is so much, and the same thing in college basketball. So you had the basketball point shaving or stat shaving scandal, and if you look at the schools involved, it was all really tiny schools, players that aren't getting substantial NIL money. Hopefully, you're not going to get game fixing with this because the players are making so much money,
right?
Which maybe is a dumb thing because an NBA player was involved in this, but that appeared to be a theme in the basketball scandals. They were all from small schools.
Yeah.
The guy making $1 million to be a backup forward in the SEC is less inclined to fix a game for $10,000 or whatever from some local sketchy guy. So hopefully that remains the case. But anyway,
we shall see.
We shall see. And we're glad you guys are with us.
I think you're right. Just for the record, I think that is probably the case.
And by the way, guys, if we gave away our tickets to Zach Bryan in Starkville, they're gone.
Yeah.
But there are tickets still available online. Go to Mississippi State's website, hailstate.com. I almost said webstate.
Website.
Hailstate.com. If you want to go, you can go this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds off because, honestly, his music's not for me, but I have been told going to his show, he puts on an awesome show.
Yeah.
And he's playing in your football stadium. You want to go to that. And honestly, tickets, not that expensive either. Go check it out, hailstate.com. We'll be back in just a bit.
From the Sports Talk Mississippi.
Hey, it's go time.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Well, say something.
Super Talk Mississippi.
If I worked in the same building as you, I would do the Andy Bernard thing. I'd be like, in your head. I do it all the time. I would mess with you all the time like that. It's a good thing we don't work in the same building.
It is.
These sophomoric pranks would be out of control. We would have actually, our HR rep would have had us in her office at least 5 times this month. Just everything. It's like, you guys, no. Just a lot of no. So, Sports Talk Mississippi, wrapping things up with you here on it's a Thursday.
It is a Thursday.
Yeah. That's good. It's good that it's a Thursday. So I got to tell you about this. So you remember yesterday when we were going off the air, I said that I saw a video about a guy who made a peanut butter and jelly honey bun sandwich?
Yes.
And he basically put peanut butter and jelly on the bottom of the honey bun, the unfrosted part, and then sandwiched them together, right? And I thought that was the fattest thing I was going to see all day. Then I kept scrolling. Borky, have you seen the Land O'Lakes butter balls? Have you seen these things?
No.
It's a bag of butter balls, like balls of butter. Now, why we need this, I don't know. Why is it so difficult that we can't get the butter knife out, cut off a tablespoon, and dump it into whatever we're cooking? All right, you see it now?
This is ridiculous.
I'm not done. I am not done. This woman was eating them out of the bag. But before eating the butterball, she had mixed cinnamon and sugar together and dumped that into the bag and then shaken it up. So she had cinnamon and sugar coated balls of butter she was eating as a snack.
She's going to die tomorrow.
Like, the term that the kids are using these days are big backs. That's some big backetry is what that is. Like big backetness. Imagine eating straight butter covered in cinnamon and sugar. Like, look, if you give me cinnamon and sugar and butter with flour and eggs and some milk and you made cinnamon rolls, sure. Yeah. That's acceptable, socially acceptable. We're eating balls of butter out of a bag covered in cinnamon. Can we do it with any flavor? Can we go savory?
Goodness
Can we do like a garlic
straight balls of butter?
Can we do a garlic parmesan butter ball? Can we go savory with that? I don't know. Cajun, ranch maybe. I don't know. Very few times am I watching that stuff, and I'm just disgusted. But that was one. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Even me at my fattest, isn't eating butter straight, guys.
I just had a core memory unlocked. You're going to think I'm such a nerd, but
okay, I can't wait.
So I've told you guys before that my friends and I, growing up, we would run around the neighborhood all day until curfew, and then we'd immediately hop on Xbox Live and play Halo.
Yeah.
And for like 6 months, we did this bit where we would do a southern accent and talk like we were Paula Deen. And
continue.
And fried butter. All night we would talk like Paula Deen, talking about frying butter.
Hey, y'all.
Live. Yeah.
Master Chief's going to go out there and wreck the Covenant.
Oh,
and we're going to have some delicious fried chicken.
But that's what we would do. We would play big team battle. We talk like we were Paula Deen telling guys on our team. These bunch of 14-year-olds and get just dog cussed is what we were getting by all these kids.
Hey, y'all. Here I am. I'm going to throw a frag grenade in there.
Oh, man. Deep fry the butterball. Seriously, I'm sure there's going to be some fair that has that.
We tricked the girl at the restaurant I work at to take a bite of butter by cutting it like it was cheesecake and telling her it was cheesecake. That's diabolical. Fantastic.
I mean, isn't cheesecake basically like eating
there's
flavored butter, though?
There's cream cheese and other stuff in there.
Yeah, but like the contents of it, it's not really that much better for you.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Now, if you eat a whole cheesecake, that's a different story. But a slice of cheesecake's not the worst thing in the world.
Been there.
Yeah. Been where? Eating a slice of cheesecake?
Eating an entire cake, anyway. I was leaving a wedding once. We were the girl I was dating at the time, this is a long time ago, and one other couple were the last people at this wedding. I mean, it was an open bar, and the band was awesome, and everybody left, and they were cleaning up, and the people were like, we are either throwing this away or giving it to you. And so we had like 3/4 of a wedding cake that we got to take with us back to the hotel.
The couple didn't take the wedding cake with them?
Nope.
Oh.
They didn't want it. So hey, Dad, there was like the like super fancy like decorated cake, and then there was the cake that they cut to give to everybody. They didn't cut into their fancy cake, which was like tiny and whatever.
And so you got that.
And we ate it was this tall, and the four of us ate the entire thing. It was amazing.
I love it. That's good stuff.
I love when we go off the rails. We're having fun. Tomorrow we'll buckle down some baseball.
Nope, one more. Told my nephew one time a stick of butter was cheese. He was walking around eating it and thought it was cheese. He was 3. No coincidence. That kid weighs 410 pounds now.
Have you ever seen the tricks where people buy the fake knives and give them to toddlers and they run around the house?
Yes.
Oh, that's so funny.
Exactly.
We will we'll buckle down tomorrow, though. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, maybe. And we will do that starting at 3 o'clock. See you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.